Have you ever noticed how certain women seem to carry a mysterious magnetism regardless of their age? They're not always the youngest in the room. They may not fit the typical beauty standards we've been conditioned to admire. But there's something about them. Something that makes men turn their heads, lean in, want to know more. And no, it's not just luck. This kind of deep attraction isn't about having perfect skin or wearing the trendiest clothes. It comes from somewhere much deeper, something far more powerful than looks. It's a set of behaviors, choices, a presence they've cultivated often without even realizing it. In this video, we're diving into why these women captivate so effortlessly. We'll explore 6 specific behaviors that trigger lasting fascination, not through chasing attention, but by embodying quiet power. And here's the real secret: anyone can learn them. You don't need to change who you are, you just need to understand how attraction actually works at a psychological level. Let me ask you something before you notice someone's lipstick hairstyle, or even what they're wearing. What's the very first thing that hits you? It's their presence, their energy, their posture, their confidence. Long before anyone registers your outfit or your makeup, they subconsciously pick up on how secure you are in your own skin. And here's the truth. No beauty magazine will tell you confidence is more magnetic than mascara. Think about this for a second. 2 women walk into a room. One of them is conventionally attractive, flawless skin, trendy clothes, perfect hair. But her shoulders are hunched, her eyes dart around the room, and she seems hesitant to take up space. The second woman. Maybe she doesn't check all the boxes of conventional beauty. But she walks with her head held high, her gaze steady, her movements purposeful. She speaks slowly with intention. She's calm, grounded, present. Which one do you notice? Which one stays in your mind? Psychologists from Webster University actually study this. They found that people with high self-confidence are consistently rated as more attractive even if their physical appearance doesn't align with cultural beauty standards. Why? Because confidence sends a clear message. I know who I am. I don't need your approval. And that energy, it's irresistible. You see, when a woman walks into a room and owns her space, not arrogantly but gracefully, she becomes unforgettable. She doesn't need to beg for attention. Her presence does the work for her. This is not about being loud. It's not about being flashy. It's about radiating calm self-assurance that says, I belong here. So how do you embody this kind of presence? Let's talk about some real practical tools. 1. Stand tall and walk with intention. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back, and lead with your heart, literally. When you walk, don't rush or shuffle. Move like every step has purpose. This simple shift not only boosts your confidence internally, but also broadcasts it externally. People will feel it. 2. Maintain eye contact. There's power in your gaze. Not the kind that challenges people, but the kind that communicates, I see you. And I'm not afraid to be seen. Holding eye contact just a little longer than what feels comfortable builds trust, dominance, and curiosity. It says, I'm present. I'm not hiding. Practice this even in small daily interactions at the grocery store with your barista or during a work meeting. You'll start noticing a shift in how people respond to you. 3. Speak slowly and with intentions, confident. Women don't rush their words. They know that silence doesn't need to be filled with chatter. Speak in a steady, calm tone. Let your words land. Take pauses. Let others lean in to listen. This doesn't just make you sound more assured, it actually rewires your brain to feel more secure. Remember, when you speak fast, you sound anxious. But when you slow down, You command space. 4. Don't shrink, expand. Have you ever noticed how we physically shrink when we feel nervous? We cross our arms, look down, fidget with our hair or sleeves. Confident presence is about doing the opposite. Uncross your arms. Let your hands move naturally. Sit or stand with openness. Take up space, not aggressively, but unapologetically. Your posture tells the world how much you value yourself. Don't minimize it. And here's a little secret: confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you practice. Over time, it becomes your new normal. It stops feeling like performance and starts feeling like home. Carl Jung, and the father of depth psychology, once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that journey, it doesn't start in front of a mirror. It starts in the way you stand, the way you speak, and the way you believe in your own worth, with or without anyone's validation. So the next time you find yourself reaching for more makeup or questioning if you're pretty enough, pause. Ask yourself, am I owning my presence or hiding behind a mask? Because the most captivating women don't walk into a room asking for approval. They walk in already knowing they're enough. And that, my friend, is what draws the room towards them without saying a word. Now that you've unlocked the first behavior of magnetic women, stay with me, because the next one might just flip your entire idea of attraction on its head. Ready? Let's keep going. Let's talk about something most women have been conditioned to avoid: detachment. You've probably heard things like, if you care, show it. If you want him, pursue him. If you love someone, don't hold back. And while vulnerability is a beautiful thing, clinging is not. In fact, the more you cling, the more you repel. The more you chase, the faster they run. But here's the paradox. When you stop being always available, you become more irresistible. And this isn't just dating advice, it's psychological truth. Let me explain. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist not only persists, but grows in size." Desire, especially romantic desire, thrives in uncertainty, in the not knowing, the maybe. When something is too easy, the brain gets lazy. It stops producing the dopamine, the chemical of anticipation, effort, and pursuit. But when something feels slightly out of reach, the mind starts to focus. Attention sharpens, curiosity grows, and suddenly, you become a mystery they want to solve. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about reclaiming your space and your emotional autonomy. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine you've been texting someone you like. You always reply within seconds. You laugh at all their jokes. You're constantly available even when you're exhausted. And yet, they start to fade. Fewer texts, less effort. You feel confused, even hurt. Now let's flip the script. You don't rush to respond. Not out of coldness, but because you're actually living your life. You've got your passions, your people, your plans. You respond thoughtfully, but not out of anxiety. And what happens? They start leaning in. They notice the shift. The energy dynamic changes. Because here's the secret. When you stop being consumed by their world, they become more interested in entering yours. This is the power of not clinging. And it's not rejection. It's redirection back to yourself. So how do you embody this kind of presence? Here are a few real tools you can start practicing. 1. Don't always respond. Not immediately. Let the silence breathe. Not because you're punishing them, but because you're not addicted to validation. This shows you value your time. You don't rush to perform emotional labor just to keep someone's interest. 2. Live a life that's bigger than romance. Build a world so rich with purpose, joy, and discovery that romantic attention becomes a bonus, not a necessity. People who have full lives are naturally magnetic. Why? Because they're not looking to be completed, they're simply open to being joined. 3. Detach emotionally without disconnecting spiritually. Detachment doesn't mean being cold. It means loving without attachment to outcome. It means being fully present without needing to control. It means saying, I want you, but I don't need you to validate me. That energy, it's intoxicating. Kulula. And here's the deeper truth. You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you're always available, always adjusting, always giving, people subconsciously assume they don't have to earn your presence. But when you become selective, when your attention is intentional and rare, it becomes valuable. Just like a fine wine or a rare book or an original painting, what is rare is revered. So if you're wondering why someone's interest seems to wane the moment you lean in too hard, ask yourself, have I made myself too easy to access? Have I forgotten my own center? Carl Jung taught that individuation, the process of becoming whole, requires us to confront our inner patterns. If your pattern is to cling, try stillness. If your pattern is to overgive, try receiving. If your pattern is to fear being alone, lean into solitude. Because the moment you stop chasing, you stop bleeding power. And in that silence, in that sovereign space, something magical happens. They notice. They feel your self-respect. They see the difference. And they either rise to meet your energy or fall away. Either way, you win. Let's get one thing straight. A style is not about trends. It's not about copying the latest Instagram influencer or dressing like you just walked off a runway. Real style, the kind that turns heads when you enter a room, isn't about fashion. It's about energy. It's about identity. And most importantly, it's about intention. Because here's the truth, you don't need to look like everyone else to be magnetic. You need to own who you are visually, unapologetically. And studies back this up. A research paper from Princeton University revealed that people make judgments about someone's attractiveness and competence within just a tenth of a second. And those judgments are largely based on how you present yourself, not your facial features or body shape. In other words, people are drawn to how you embody yourself. It's not about having the perfect body or flawless makeup. It's about how well your outside aligns with your inside. So ask yourself, when you walk into a room, does your outfit whisper, I'm trying to blend in? Or does it say, this is who I am? Take it or leave it. Let me give you a practical breakdown of how style becomes a form of visual power. Babra 1. Curate, don't copy. You don't need 20 new outfits. You need 3 that make you feel like a goddess. You know that outfit, the one where your shoulders sit straighter, your smile feels freer, and your energy expands. That's your power uniform. Forget trends. Forget rules like don't wear red or navy is too formal. Style isn't about rules. It's about resonance. When your clothes reflect your true essence, people feel it even before you speak. 2. Color psychology is real. Color communicates before you do. Wearing red signals boldness, presence, and unapologetic confidence. It says, I know I'm here and I'm not hiding. Navy blue carries the energy of intellect and grounded leadership. It says, I see clearly, I decide wisely. Think about it. Every powerful brand uses color for a reason. Why shouldn't you? 3. Signature scents create emotional memory. Never underestimate the power of scent. Science tells us that smell is the strongest trigger for memory and emotion. A certain fragrance can etch you into someone's nervous system. Choose a scent that isn't too loud, but lingers just enough. One that people associate with calm strength, sensuality, or elegance. You don't want to overpower the room, you want to haunt it. Softly. The 4, dress your shape, not someone else's standard. Honor your body the way it is today, not 5 pounds from now. Wearing clothes that fit you properly is an act of self-respect. You're not hiding. You're highlighting the story your body tells, the one that's walked through storms, healed wounds, and still stands tall. And here's the real shift. Style is not about impressing others. It's about aligning your external world with your internal truth. It's about sending a silent message that says, I know who I am. And I'm not afraid for you to know it too. This energy is magnetic. It draws people in, not just romantically, but spiritually. Because people don't fall in love with the look of you. They fall in love with the essence of you, the way you carry yourself, the way you own your space, the way your style tells a story that words never could. So next time you get dressed, don't ask, do I look good enough? Ask, does this represent the version of me I respect most? If the answer is yes, trust me, the world will feel it. Here's a radical idea. Feminine energy isn't weak. It's not passive. It's not submissive. It's one of the most powerful forces in attraction, and it doesn't need to chase, beg, or perform. Let that sink in for a moment. Because we've been conditioned to believe that if we want something, especially love, we have to go after it, prove ourselves, compete, or even control how things unfold. But the truth is, the most magnetic women don't chase. They attract, and they do it without saying a word. Now, I'm not talking about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. I'm talking about a different kind of strength, one rooted in presence, openness, and trust. Let me paint a picture. Imagine 2 women walk into a room. One moves fast, phone in hand, eyes scanning already 3 steps ahead in her mind. The other, she walks slower. She's grounded. Her shoulders are relaxed, her breathing calm. She smiles, not because she's trying to be liked, but because she feels good in her body, in her moment. Who do you think people gravitate toward? According to a study from the University of California, people are significantly more drawn to relaxed, open body language and slower, deliberate movements. Why? Because it signals safety, confidence, and emotional availability. This is feminine energy in motion. It's not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It invites attention through ease, not effort. So how do you step into this energy? 1. Stop trying to control every outcome. Let go of needing to know what happens next. If he doesn't call back immediately, don't spiral. If the future is uncertain, don't try to grip tighter. Let it breathe. Let him lead sometimes. Let the relationship evolve naturally, without forcing clarity too soon. The moment you stop needing to direct everything, you create space for deeper connection to arise. You are to slow down. Be here. Feminine energy lives in the now. It's sensual, present, grounded. Start noticing the little things again, the feel of your breath, the warmth of sunlight, the tone of your voice when you speak. When you slow down, you invite others to do the same. You become a sanctuary of calm in a world that moves too fast. 3. Speak with softer confidence. Your voice is a transmission of energy. Fast, high-pitched, anxious tones push people away. But a soft, steady, and grounded voice that draws them in. Try this before you respond in conversation. Pause. Let your words land. Speak with warmth, not rush. This subtle shift changes how people feel around you, safe, seen, and magnetized. And here's the deeper truth. Feminine energy isn't about gender roles or submission. It's about receiving. It's about allowing yourself to be in your body instead of your head. It's about trusting that you don't have to prove your worth, your energy speaks for you. When you embrace this, you'll find something magical happens. Men step up more. They listen more. They offer more. Not because you demanded it, but because your energy inspired it. This is not manipulation. It's not about strategy. It's about returning to your natural essence, the one that doesn't need to chase, because it knows it's already enough. So here's your gentle reminder. You don't have to be louder to be heard. You don't have to move faster to be seen. Your feminine energy is not a weakness. It's your quiet superpower. And the world is craving more of it. Have you ever met someone who could say more in one sentence than others do in an entire conversation? That's the power of intentional communication. And it's one of the most underrated yet magnetic traits a woman can master. You see, attraction isn't always loud. It doesn't come from saying the most, knowing the most, or trying the hardest. True allure lives in the subtle, the way she pauses before she speaks, the way her gaze lingers just long enough to be remembered, and the way she listens like your words matter. This is what I call artful communication. And it's not about performance. It's about presence. Now let's break it down. In a world that's constantly shouting, the one who speaks softly but with depth becomes unforgettable. Women who master this don't waste words. They speak with clarity, not noise. They leave space for mystery, not because they're hiding something, but because they don't need to explain everything. And when they do speak, their words land. Not like bullets, but like truths, gentle yet piercing. Now, here's something fascinating. A study from Princeton University found that the rhythm and tone of your voice actually impact how trustworthy and attractive you seem, even more than what you're saying. That means your pace, your pauses, and your vocal presence create emotion before your words even register. Think about that. Have you ever slowed your voice down in a moment of intensity just to make someone feel your point, or lowered your tone slightly in a moment of intimacy to pull someone closer without moving a muscle? That's not manipulation. That's emotional intelligence. That's the art of communication. Now, here's a simple but powerful practice. The next time you're in conversation, try this question. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you dare to do? It's disarming. It goes beneath the surface. It invites a level of vulnerability most people aren't used to, but secretly crave. You're not just making small talk anymore. You're helping someone reflect, and in doing so, you instantly stand out. Not because you're flashy, but because you're real. Now, let's talk about silence. Most people are terrified of silence. They rush to fill it, cover it, escape it. But women who are magnetic, they're friends with silence. They use it as a tool, not a gap. A moment of eye contact, a subtle pause, the space between two sentences. That's where energy builds. That's where mystery lives. You don't always need to have the perfect thing to say. Sometimes just holding space with your presence says more than any words ever could. So here's what I want to leave you with. Next time you enter a conversation, don't focus on being interesting. Focus on being interested. Don't try to prove. Just pause, respond. Speak with clarity, not volume. And most of all, let silence do some of the talking. Because when you master the art of communication, you stop being a background voice and start becoming someone people can't stop thinking about. Let me tell you a secret most women overlook. Independence is the new seduction. It's not how much you desire someone. It's how complete you are without needing to be completed. Because here's the truth. Men don't fall for women who make them their whole world. They fall for women who already have a world so vibrant, so full, so alive, that they just want to be part of it. Imagine this. She wakes up not to check her phone, but to stretch, meditate, journal, hit the gym. She has her goals, her passions, her own orbit. She's not cold. She's not dismissive. She's just whole. And wholeness, that's irresistible. It's magnetic in a way. No lipstick, no outfit, no flirtation ever could be. Let's talk science for a second. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that individuals with high self-agency, meaning they can make decisions and find fulfillment independently, are perceived as more attractive long-term partners. Why? Because they signal emotional stability. They don't need, they choose. And choice, my friend, is the highest form of desire. But now don't get me wrong. This isn't about being a lone wolf. It's about being a lioness with her own terrain who welcomes love but doesn't chase it. You see, when your life is rich with purpose, when you're learning, growing, laughing with friends, setting goals, creating, you naturally become someone others gravitate toward. Why? Because your energy says, I'm not waiting for life to begin when someone picks me. It's already begun. You can join if you'd like, but I'm not stopping. Let me give you a practical tip. Start by falling in love with your own life. Not in a cliché Instagram quote kind of way, but genuinely. Ask yourself, what excites me outside of relationships? What dream have I put on hold? Who inspires me, and how can I grow from that? Then go do those things. Enroll in that class. Call that friend. Build that business. Plan that solo trip. Read that book you've been putting off. Because here's the plot twist. When you become emotionally independent, you don't push love away. You attract a higher quality kind of love. One rooted in mutual respect, not codependency. Like Carl Jung once said, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes, and awakened women. They don't beg for love. They embody it. So if you've ever wondered why some women seem to captivate without even trying, it's not magic. It's not luck. It's the unapologetic power of a woman who chooses herself first, not out of ego, but out of deep self-respect. So ask yourself this. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting to be chosen and started choosing yourself every single day? Because the woman who builds her own world doesn't just become attractive. She becomes unforgettable. So here's what I want you to remember. True magnetism doesn't come from your age, your dress size, or your cheekbones. It comes from your energy, the way you walk into a room, the way you make others feel, and most of all, the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. Men don't remember the woman who is simply the most beautiful. They remember the one who made them feel something they couldn't explain, something that lingered, something unforgettable. That kind of energy, it's not bought, it's built. And the good news, you can start building it today. You don't need to be perfect at all 6 behaviors we explored. But even choosing one, just one, and applying it consistently can shift the way the world responds to you. Because this isn't just about attraction, this is about power. your power to walk through life on your own terms, knowing exactly who you are, and letting that truth be what draws people in. So let me ask you, which of the 6 behaviors do you already embody, and which one do you feel called to grow into next? Drop your answer in the comments, not just for me, but for the women in this community who are growing with you. If this video sparked something in you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Because the more we live from our inner magnetism, the less we need to chase, and the more life begins to come to us.